Hello, grade sevens. So in the first video, you learned about some different relationships between different types of angles. I'm just going to go over a few example questions. So in this first one here, we have the right angle, which remember was a complementary angle. So if we know that this part is 70, we need to figure out how much this part is, what y is. So some of these you might just be able to do mentally, just you're kind of in your head figuring out 70 plus something equals 90 because you know that a right angle is going to equal 90. So you might just be able to look at that and say, oh, well, it's going to be 20. I just know that 70 plus 90 equals 20. Sorry, 70 plus 20 equals 90. If you have trouble figuring out that mentally, then you can write out an equation. So if you think about 70 plus y in this case is equal to 90. Remember, we did these kind of questions in our first unit in algebra where we want to find out, well, what does y equal? I want to get rid of the 70 on that side so I can subtract 70 from each side. So I'm going to get 90 minus 70. That means that y is equal to 20. Okay, for this second one down here, I guess it's number 3, but thinking of it as a second one, we've got b plus 68 is equal to 180. These are supplementary angles together. It makes together makes a straight line. So if I want to figure out what I have to add to 68 to get 180, right? We can subtract 68. So if I did 180 minus 70, it'd be 110. So it's going to be 112. And then if you wanted to check to see if that's right, you can add them to the two of them together to see if you did the math correctly. Yeah, right. 112 plus 68 is equal to 180. All right, this example up here, one of the relationships you learned about in the video was that angles that are across from each other are equal. So if this one's 35, this one over here, these are sometimes called vertical angles or opposite angles, but they're going to be the same. So angle T is 35. And now if I look here, I've got this straight line here. So we have supplementary angles. U plus 35 is going to equal 180. So to think, well, what would I add to 35 to get 180? So I can maybe do some subtraction in my head. 180 minus 30 is 150. To subtract another 5, so I'm at 145. So U is equal to 145. So if I've got 145 up here, I've got opposite angles here as well. So if this is 145, then directly across also has to be 145. And then down here, they're asking for x for this whole thing. Well, if I have 35 here and 25 here, those two angles beside each other or adjacent, then the whole part is going to be the sum of those. So I need to add up 35 and 25. 30 and 20 would be 50, plus that extra 5 and 5 would be 10. So we've got 60. So those are the types of questions that are going to be in your slideshow. As you go through your slideshow, you don't need to show the work, but anytime you see the light blue square, you can double click and type in the correct answer. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.